Really until about 2016, 2017, I would have talked about the power of I don't know if I would have said free markets, but I would have talked about markets as if they were organic forces that come first. That markets work this way or that way, and then government is there to intervene to sort of the metaphor there is something like a stream rolling down a hill and government shows up to put a dam in or to change something that's naturally occurring, and that metaphor is one I use, and I think it's one that is continues to be pervasive, not just on the right but on the left. So when I was writing the book, I was determined not to use the word intervene at any point. And so by the end, I did a little control F just to make sure in the manuscript I had not, because it's a sticky idea, and it's one that when we grasp for the language, that's what we find. But I think it's a really dangerous one because it does suggest that markets are just fine on their own. It makes no observations about the things that make markets work in the first place. The basics of property law, contract law, a stable currency, investment capital that can be developed and deployed, all of which rely on government, on public policy, even in the most libertarian kind of scenarios. Markets require government. And then what I see when I look at the history of American capitalism is something even more robust. Like if you go through some of the major markets in the United States, banking and finance, health insurance, pharmaceuticals, airlines, cars, defense production, semiconductors. I could keep going on the list. Every single one of these industries has been managed by policymakers for 100 years. And so there is the idea that there's a free market where government comes in afterward and then like moves things around is not empirically true. And yet that is still such a pervasive idea that we keep using, we keep coming back to linguistically. And that's one of the big reasons why I wrote the book is to, first off, just make it clear that markets are often managed and crafted, and then to explore, well, if we're going to do it, like a lot of those industries I just mentioned aren't going so well, health insurance, pharmaceuticals, et cetera. So let's talk about when it works and when it fails so that we can do it better.